Hey there, welcome back to the vlog and Happy New Year. So, this morning was an interesting morning for a number of reasons, the biggest of which was we got a alert that went out across the whole of Ontario saying that those within a 10-kilometre radius of the local nuclear power plant, there had been an incident, but we didn't need to do anything right at this moment. So, as you can imagine, everybody was like head scratching, what's going on here? And an agonizing hour and 40 minutes later, there was a second notice that went out to everybody in Ontario saying, disregard the first message, there was no incident. It was sent out in error. Now, I wasn't too worried about the first incident message because, given our proximity, it's like I can't see anything has happened, and there's no signs of smoke, fire, or anything like that. And at the same time, like we've also got rad block in the house, and there's a whole video about that up here. So I'm not too fussed about that type of an emergency because if there was an emergency and we had to prepare for it, well, we're already prepared. So that wasn't the problem. But what got in the back of my head and then started to sort of percolate and grow into something bigger was how the message got to the point where it's being broadcast to the population of Ontario, yet there was no incident. Now, in the same way that the Ontario Provincial Police who send out these messages, I'll just call them the OPP from here on in because it's a lot quicker, they have a protocol basically where somebody with authorization sends them the message, they put it out. They can't turn around and say to, say, the Toronto Police, are you sure that that baby is missing? Are you sure that you need this? Like they can't do that type of stuff. So the message arrives, they just broadcast it. And if you've ever worked in technology, you will understand that they are effectively, imagine there's an API with communication coming through, they are effectively the database. The database can't argue with the application that is sending them data. It just blindly accepts what you put into it and blindly does what it's told. This is where injection attacks, SQL attacks, the need to sanitize your input comes in software development. Now, this puts the blame firmly on the side of the OPG, or Ontario Power Generation, who own the Pickering nuclear power plant. They obviously have a protocol that is busted, because if somebody can phone from there, or fax from there, or send information from there to the OPP that is not valid information, and they've done it once, well, if something doesn't change, they can do it twice. Or somebody else can do it on their behalf. And this is really where I'm getting at. There is something busted here, and I don't know if it's that somebody who does have the authorization did honestly think there was a problem. But, there was talk that an exercise was going on this morning, so maybe somebody got the wrong end of the stick, which in that case means, in the same way that military will have like notice to airmen or any other types of protocol to alert people that, hey, stay away from this area, or don't worry if you hear or see something, we're just doing an exercise. That obviously didn't happen. Somehow, somebody got the message to the OPP, probably in good faith, that this needs to go out. And that is really where, I draw a very, very big similarity in my head here as to how APIs work, coming from a website or a mobile app, through an API, into a database. Like, you can't expect the database to be doing the sanity checking here. You sanity check before it gets to that point. And so this really does clearly place, in my head at least, the blame on the Ontario Power Generation people. Something broke severely, and whilst I'm very sure that a lot of people now are going to be running around asking these questions, these are the questions that should have been asked beforehand. This is kind of similar to how the people who didn't get the KI pills before a potential incident, they'll now go out and buy the pills, or they will go and source them from the website, Get Prepared, Prepare to Be Prepared, or whatever it's called. I'll put the link down below. They should have done this before the incident became a reality. And we were lucky this morning that the incident turned out to be a non-incident. But I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people now asking the serious questions that they should have asked way before. Yeah, I've said this before. It's like a lot of people, they just don't tend to think. They tend to think that problems happen to other people, not to themselves. So, you know, I'm sure that's now going to happen. But anyway, there's bound to be a very large discussion going on for weeks, if not months, after this, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say today. Is that there is a definite correlation between what happens normally in business or enterprise with regards to data throughput and sanitization and the protocols involved in making sure that things of a bad nature don't happen, and what actually did happen today at the nuclear power plant. Like, that should never have been a possibility. Like, you should not be able to say that an incident has happened when an incident has not happened. So, anyway, fun times. Beginning of 2020. That's how we started it. All right, speak to you soon. Bye.